What's good, everybody? It is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. This is the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not close. Now, I tell you all the time, tell a friend, we want everybody here. Well, Dominic, Brock brought you, like I can talk this morning. Welcome to the Early Edge universe. Brock, you're doing exactly what we ask you to do. Now, there are days where you have a good day, but you just bite down because you're so irritated at the way things went down. Let's take a look at what happened last night. 7-5, so we had a winning day at the brand, but it felt like a losing day because if you watched the Cavs last night, up 5, 80 seconds to go, they gave up a 7-point possession. If you don't know how that happens, go back and watch it. Oh, that was so irritating. But it's the way it goes, and we still had a winning day. Speaking of day, it's a busy day here at the brand. Last week, you guys absolutely loved our brand new PGA Tour golf show every single Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time with yours truly, Sia Najah, the counselor of cash, and, of course, Patrick McDonald. All right, let's bring in the stars of the show because on a Wednesday, you know I'm bringing in my heavy hitters. We got to bring up the energy. So, first and foremost, live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse level. M Squared, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. You definitely have called the right man for the energy. You know, I am always bringing the most energy to the show, but fired up to be here. We got golf starting 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. All sorts of great things headed on. Let's do it.
You're damn right. The first full field event of the year. We'll have picks this morning and also later today on our brand new show. Now, he's become very public with his pursuit of the better half. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Buckets back to the Early Edge. Buckets, how are things going, sir?
Good morning, Coach. Things are going well. I'm learning more every day. I've learned that on a first date, you don't talk about Chinese Super League games the entire time, and you kind of got to ease into it a little bit. So live and learn, and we're gonna keep going with it.
And people are they're gonna help you out. We're gonna help you out. It's okay. It's a crawl before we can walk. Now, finally, he's been here since day freaking one. He is the maestro, Larry Hartstein. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. A little housekeeping. On Monday, I took a not-so-subtle shot at AB, but Venmo is working again. The money came through. The showdown is paid off, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what we can get going for Wild Card Weekend.
Wow. You know who was asking me about that?
Who?
Nobody! Nobody was asking about that. Nobody cared. All right, let's get into it. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today, and I got to tell you, I almost feel like, Mikey, we should have a show at 6:30 p.m. just for the NBA because they're driving me bananas with these late announcements. And, I got knee sore. But we've got to adjust. We've got to adapt, and we will. But the injury report is very, very important. Start us off.
Yeah, it's a shorter slate for a Wednesday than normal, but still a loaded injury report. We'll start with the Chicago Bulls. They're on the road at Washington. Alex Caruso upgraded to probable. He spent some time in and out of the lineup recently. The big one, though, DeMar DeRozan is on the injury report, listed questionable. On the Washington side, Kristaps Porzingis listed questionable here. Detroit, second night of a back-to-back. They got absolutely crushed last night at Philly. Now they are at home hosting Minnesota. Jalen Duren, Isaiah Livers, Isaiah Stewart, all listed as questionable, as is Bojan Bogdanovic. On the Minnesota side, Anthony Edwards is listed questionable here. He was listed questionable in the last game. He did end up playing in that one. For the Pacers and Knicks, RJ Barrett listed questionable. For the Boston Celtics, playing the Pelicans here. The Pelicans absolutely beat up. All the guys remain out. Herb Jones also doubtful to play in this game. On the Celtics side, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, both listed questionable. For the San Antonio Spurs, on the road again at Memphis, 13.5-point underdogs. Keldon Johnson missed the last game. He is listed questionable once again tonight. And then Denver and Phoenix. Denver looks pretty good on the injury report. No names of note. For the Phoenix Suns, second night of a back-to-back, they might get Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Landry Shamet back tonight. All three did not play last night, listed questionable today.
I got to tell you, what I do and what a lot of our crew does, I encourage you to look at the starting lineups also. All of that information Mikey gave you was fantastic. Then go see if they're actually going to start perhaps before, unless it's a game where we tell you got to get the number. But this is a delicate situation with the way these stars, and not even the stars, are sitting out. Just a lot of good players sitting out on back-to-backs and things of that nature. All right. Now, that's the NBA, which we're fired up for today. They're not going to get the best of us. No more 7-point plays. But the NFL, Maestro, is our bread and butter. And you do a great job of educating the audience because this is about more than just picks. Sometimes it's about who is officiating the game. Talk to me.
Yeah, guys, and before I get to that, the big news out of the NFL this morning is that optimism is, quote, dwindling, according to NFL.com, that Lamar Jackson will hit the field. And we're seeing the Bengals-Ravens line solidly at 7, but now even some 7.5s. It doesn't look like he's going to go, but we'll find out more today as they're required to give a practice report. But talking about officiating, and my buddy Joe Gibbs from NFL Ref Stats 1, definitely follow this guy on Twitter. He's so sharp when it comes to officiating. He did some research. The NFL is putting ref Adrian Hill on the Vikings-Giants game, and he's the guy that refed the game just a few weeks ago, Week 16 in Minnesota. There were only 2 penalties called on Minnesota. There were 7 on the Giants. We know the Vikings won the game 27-24. It's only happened 7 times in the last decade where the NFL gave a playoff game to a ref who had reffed that same game in the regular season. The losing team in the regular season, 6-1 against the spread. You know, maybe there's a little subconscious, let me not be so imbalanced again for one side. I'm not sure what's going on. It could just be random, but it is interesting. We also have the same ref in 49ers Seahawks. One other tidbit from Joe Gibbs. Again, NFL Ref Stats 1 is his Twitter handle. The Bills get Brad Allen for the 3rd straight home playoff game in the wild card round. The same official. They're 4-0, straight up 3-1 against the number with Brad Allen as the ref.
Man, you wonder if the NFL doesn't even look at that kind of stuff because it seems like it'd be pretty obvious to me. And, you know, I don't think they're worried about, you know, the Southwest airline ticket prices. So it doesn't matter where they go, right? Great information from the Maestro. By the way, shout out to Dylan. He said, I used the early code and got my SportsLine subscription. Feel like part of the fam now. And Dylan, you are. You are, just like Buckets is. He used his early code too. But now, we are getting prepared 2 days away from the debut of the Here or There parlay with teams that we don't even know where they exist. But today, your storyline is about some teams that maybe people don't know about or a team that people do know about but may not have. See what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. We don't know, Buckets. I'm confusing myself. Talk to me.
So we've got a big game today between a team that everyone knows and a team that not a lot of people know. We are talking about the France's League coming back this afternoon because we have some cup games, but we do have domestic league games as well. And one game that we want to keep a very close eye on is PSG taking on Angers SCO this afternoon. This is kind of a tricky game because this is the first game that Messi will return for back from his World Cup duties. So he's had a month now to rest with his friends and family, kind of relax and unwind before coming back to a big league game this afternoon. On top of him most likely being back, Mbappe has announced that he will sit out this game. So you have one All-Star returning and one All-Star stepping down. So just keep a very close eye on the lineups here. If you've already got a Mbappe anytime goal score ticket, just know that that is going to be voided because he's not even going to be on the bench today. So as Mikey does with his injury reports, we do the same in soccer where we keep a very close eye on the lineups. Just be careful before you play too many props in advance today.
All right. Very good information. A full slate of league coming out of France, and I know you love them so much. All right. Let's get to our board for the day because I'm fired up. I love these picks today. And we have one from SportsLine itself, the Milwaukee Bucks. They've been trending. The speculator nailed them on the money line at Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. Now they travel south to Atlanta to take on the Hawks, a team that is not playing well at all. They've really been kind of up and down. And the Bucks, this is the time of year when they start to make strides. They say, you know what? We're 3 months from the playoffs, so let's start to get ourselves together. And tonight I love -2.5. The money line I don't mind either at -135. Wouldn't mind that. Take the points out of it. Okay, now we tease him a lot, but damn it, does this man know his soccer? So Buckets, you're going to wait one more second because my man, when you're talking about respect, M squared goes first on this show, sir. M squared goes first. So Mikey, forget about the little kid to your right. What do you have for us this morning?
All right, we've got two plays here, Coach. They're going to be for the golf tournament and the NFL on Saturday. If you're looking for plays today, you will be able to find my NBA and college basketball simulations on SportsLine in the next 30 minutes. I know a number of you found them yesterday and enjoyed it. But for the plays today, we're going to start with the Sony Open here, going golf. We're going to give a top 20 play. We're going to focus in on Corey Connors this week. Top 20 plus 125 is the payout on this one. I really like this setup for him. Number one, the strength of the field is decent, but not elite. He is one of the better players in this field. There's been a lot of success correlated to playing this event after playing the event last week. I think that this sets up incredibly well for him. Everything he does well is great on this course, except for the putting. The putting is critical here. He has not been a great putter historically. However, over his last 36 rounds, he actually has been one of the top 10 putters on tour. He's playing incredibly well right now. It's only a matter of time before he busts through in this particular spot. He's played very, very well at this course as well. 3 top 15s in a row here at this spot would easily cash this top 20 ticket for us. I think he's incredibly live to win the event if he continues that streak with the putter. If not, he's going to have a top 15, top 20 performance. He is one of the better golfers in this field. And then we're going to move to the NFL Saturday. I'm on the opposite side. I think of a few of our colleagues here, but I am going to be backing the Chargers. I like them. I played them last night, -1. We've seen a little line movement, but you can still find -120 on the money line, which is also something that I'm going to put additional money on. I like this spot for them. I think it sets up really well in this individual matchup. The Jaguars are one of the biggest pass funnels in the NFL. That's obviously ideal here for the Chargers when you've got Justin Herbert and these weapons. They certainly want to throw the football. One thing I want to focus on a little bit here, if you remember Austin Eckler over the last 4 or 5 years, he's someone that at times had just absolutely insane usage. They've dialed that back a bit during the regular season to help protect him. I personally think this is a spot where they end up leaning on him a bit in the passing game as well. You got Bosa back on the defensive side of the ball. He's played some limited snaps. I think he's going to be fully unleashed in this must-win game. I'm not a big believer in Trevor Lawrence yet in this moment. I think they were incredibly fortunate to get by and have that situation with the Titans there. I think that this Chargers defense, we've knocked on them a lot. But since week 8, they've actually been one of the best defenses in the NFL against the pass. I think it's one where Trevor Lawrence is going to make a mistake. It's going to be enough for the Chargers to pull away. So give me the Chargers on the money line.
Yeah, he had a lot of nerves last week. It was really obvious he had a lot of nerves in what was essentially a playoff game a week early for the Jags. Now, a lot of you are asking about golf. D. Tubin's asking, Mikey, do you think Hideki, who is the defending champion, would be a good play this week?
I'm not playing Hideki. It's certainly something that is going to be risky in terms of I'm not playing him in DFS. I'm not betting on him. He definitely has the skill set needed. He's obviously proved it in the past. However, I don't think that the current form is there, in my opinion. So I'm not going to pay the premium on him. At this event, you still pay a premium on a guy like Hideki. So I personally am going to sit it out on Hideki this week.
And for those of you brand new to golf betting and you wonder why such a difference, this is a completely different golf course. It's a different island. It's a par 70. You're not going to see 400-yard drives like last week. It's all about great iron players. Corey Connors is one of the great iron players in the world. So kind of lean into that, not necessarily the bombers, because you got to work your way around this course. You can't just bomb it out there on every single hole. Mikey, thank you very much. All right, now I'm going to go next very, very quickly. This is more of a gut feel for me. I told you I'm bitter about what happened last night, but we've got to move on. We've got to look forward. And when the Suns can score an extra 130 points in the second half to blast the over at 230, it's a gut feel tonight. But the Nuggets, as Mikey said, they are healthy. All their stars are playing, and the Suns are playing back-to-back. Usually that means less defense, less effort on the defensive end. So we'll take the over. I think it's kind of a discount because of the Suns not having their star players at 226 minus 110. All right, buckets. I'm looking down, and I'm seeing actually some names and teams that I recognize. So I'm here for it. You, sir, are up next.
Yeah, Coach, no here, there parlay quite yet. All the teams Friday will be teams that you've never heard of. I promise you that.
Awesome.
But today, we're sticking with some better known ones. And soccer betting wise kind of sucks sometimes because teams do not have to announce their lineups until 60 minutes before the game. So the books will always have all these lines available, all this crazy stuff available. Then an hour before the game, everything just shifts drastically, which is good for us because sometimes we can beat the lines here. All books still have Mbappe as the top goal scorer in this PSG versus Angers game. But as we know, he's not going to play. So I'm finding some creative ways to find values in this matchup at 3 p.m. this afternoon. I'm taking a same game parlay of Lionel Messi to score and PSG to win at minus 130. This line is going to move drastically when Mbappe is officially announced out an hour before the game. So we're going to beat the lines on this one and get some good value here in our first match. Then for our second game, I'm going into the kind of darker area here, going to a cup game, which I know I don't normally love, but I love the matchup between AC Milan and Torino FC this afternoon in the Coppa Italia at 3 p.m. We've seen some pretty crazy updates in cup games so far, but generally speaking, when it's two teams playing in the same league as each other, it's a much easier to predict game. AC Milan scores goals. They're probably going to rest some players, but their backups are better than most other teams in Italy. Torino is in terrific form right now. They are scoring in all of their games, and they care more about the cup as a whole. So it's kind of a game where it's a little bit tricky to predict, but both teams are capable of scoring here. And BTTS at minus 110 is too good a value to pass up anytime Torino plays.
Bad guy Matt says he loves the both teams to score there. By the way, you said the dark side. I mean, is there such a thing in the world of like
for me
eerie.
For me, the dark side are cup games because we just see teams like Barcelona lose to Northside High School by 4 goals out of nowhere. So it's just it's hard to predict these games.
Why are you taking a shot at Larry's school? Why would you do that?
Was that? I had no idea, Larry.
You are too easy.
I think Randy Moss went there too.
Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for having me. It's been a great time. This is awesome.
If you guys don't know that joke, you're missing out. All right, we have come to the time of the show. You know it's reserved for this man and this man only. Maestro, floor is yours.
Okay, we got a rematch in the NBA with the Spurs at the Grizzlies. A couple of nights ago, the Spurs gave them a game. They actually took the lead by 5 in the fourth quarter. Of course, the Grizzlies got it together, won by 8, but didn't cover. But this is the Grizzlies at home. They are the best home cover team in the league, 13-6-1, covering those games by 6 points, winning at home by over 11 points a game. And Ja Morant is back tonight. So that line went from 11 to 13.5, even though they only won by 8. But I love it. Keldon Johnson still questionable. He's the leading scorer. The second leading scorer, Devin Vassell, he is out for the Spurs. And I think that caught the Grizzlies' attention that they were down to the Spurs in the fourth quarter. I think tonight they will leave no doubt. I'll lay the points. And then I got a prop in the game that Mikey talked about. I have not come down on the side. But one thing I know is how good the Chargers pass defense is and how bad the run defense is. 5.4 yards to carry. That's the worst in the league. Latavius Murray just went off against them. Cam Akers went off the week before. And the first time these teams played, James Robinson was on the Jaguars, and Travis Etienne did not get the bulk of the carries. Well, it's his backfield now. There's nobody else. There's JaMychal Hasty, who will get maybe 2 or 3 carries. This is going to be 15-plus touches for Travis Etienne against a terrible run defense, and to take pressure off of Trevor Lawrence, they have to run the ball. I'm going over 75.5.
Apparently, it's plus 475, Maestro, if you believe Daniel, for the Grizzlies to win by 26 or more.
Worth a shot.
It might be worth a shot. Maybe worth a shot. I don't know. I don't know. All right. By the way, Buckets are asking if you like, because some books don't have the both teams to score. Do you like over 2.5 in the, I believe, the Torino game?
I actually don't. I could see this game ending 1-1 pretty easily, especially since it's a cup game. They're going to do extra time and penalties. A lot of teams are okay kind of taking it to the next step there. So if you don't have BTTS, I would just sit off of this one personally.
And you do value yourself as a member of the crew, correct? So is that yes?
That is correct. Yes.
Why aren't you answering the question? I'm not tricking you. I'm just asking you a question. So at 3:00 today, what will you be watching?
AC Milan versus Torino. Or not?
How about our brand new golf show that just started? Week 2. But hey, AC
that
Milan.
He just talked about 3 minutes ago on the show.
I thought that Coach was about to try to take me for a showdown on this AC Milan game, so I was getting all hyped up to fight him on that. But The golf show sounds wonderful as well. I'll watch that instead.
Oh, my God. What is my life? What is my life? All right. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here's the recap courtesy of the snake on the ones and the twos. Maestro, 2 big plays. Travis Etienne over 75.5 fresh yards. By the way, if you haven't watched our mega preview yet with Mikey, Maestro, and the Stoic one, I encourage you to do that before you make any NFL plays. It's an amazing 45 minutes. We go through every single wild card game on the slate. Grizzlies minus 13.5 also for the Maestro over the Spurs. Then M squared 1 play from the Sony Open, which starts tomorrow. Again, full field. It won't be that late morning start like last week. You got to get them in the night before. Corey Connors, let's go top 20 plus 125. Then the Chargers on the money line minus 120 on, I believe that's Saturday night game. Then the Buckets, little same game parlay, PSG and Messi to score today, minus 130. And then the game that everyone's going to be watching, AC Milan, Torino, both teams to score. Then the Guru, he gave this out earlier in the week, Man City, minus 1.75. They need to win by at least 2 goals to cash half. If they win by 3, we cash the entire bet. Then with me, Suns Nuggets over 226. I told you, more of a gut play. Sometimes the way the NBA is going, you got to do it that way. And then the Bucks minus 2.5. Don't mind the money line also at minus 135. What a good way to start the morning. What a powerful way to start the morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. We'll see you on Early Edge in 5 at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But an hour before that, me, Patrick, and Sia. And who knows who else will be dropping in from time to time. We're trying to get Mikey to come by sometimes, because he is a beast when it comes to golf. But with that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Buckets, M squared, Maestro, Snake on the ones and the twos. I am the coach. Tell all your friends like Dominic in Hawaii. He's getting up early just to watch little old us. We want everybody. If you're paying scammers, I see you in the chat. You're paying scammers. Stop it today. Don't do it anymore. You only need one place right here, the Early Edge.